Alright, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of TEW Global 1987, where I book some GCW. And today, we're going to be booking our first two shows of April 1996. I apologize for not uploading a little bit again. I am coming off of being sick, so if I have to pause the recording to cough, I apologize, but it has to be done. So, we're starting off with the winner of the Fatal 4-Way at March Massacre and the number one contender to the World Championship, Diamond Dallas Page, being joined in the ring with Sting, and they're cutting a promo against each other, and they agree to have their World Championship match at Championship Wrestling 177 at the end of the month, so next episode, Madhouse. I don't know if I mentioned, but all Championship Wrestlings, until the last one, will all be named after songs. So, Madhouse, song by Anthrax. So, that's the name of this. So, 88, not too bad. Let's continue. Tag Team Championships on the line. The Southern Outlaws defeat Hammer and Just Incredible and makes defense number 2 of the World Tag Team Championships. So, not too bad. 54 for these two teams right here. Not too bad. Outlaw Wyndham really carrying the match right here. And afterwards, Perry Saturn beats down Hammer and Just Incredible for not getting the job done, and the flock continues to feel the wrath of their leader. We've got an interview with Chris Benoit, Lance Storm, and Teddy Long. Excuse me. And they announced the formation of a new stable in GCW. We're really getting up there with stables, aren't we? Chris Benoit, Lance Storm, and Teddy Long form Battle Pro Initiative, where we focus on nonsense. We don't focus on nonsense wrestling. We're straight shooters, and we try to win. So Battle Pro Initiative is the name of the new stable with Chris Benoit, Lance Storm, and Teddy Long as their manager. And The Rock comes out, and he challenges Chris Benoit for the Intercontinental Championship to a match tonight. And Chris Benoit, of course, since he's part of BPI, he accepts because they don't turn down challenges. So tonight, Chris Benoit versus The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship gets a 66. The current stand-in for the television champion, Booker T, Stevie Ray, comes out, and he takes on Mike Enos and defends the TV championship for Booker T. And gets a 41, so not too good, but you know what? It's fine. We got an interview with Chris Jericho, and he complains about being screwed once again at March Massacre after Lance Storm cost him the Intercontinental Championship. So more complaining from Jericho, as he usually does. 91. Oh yes, Eddie Guerrero comes out with Juventud Guerrera, Hector Garza, and Super Calo, and he introduces the Latino World Order, the LWO, which means that in this version of history, the LWO was founded before the NWO, and I'm probably not gonna have the NWO because Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hulk Hogan are all in different companies in 1996, so it's probably not gonna happen. But it's okay, we can get the LWO. So it gets a 52. DDP is in action next. He gets a victory over Greg Valentine. We're just trying to get DDP over, get him some victories over relatively over and older guys. And gets him in 8 minutes with the DDP DDT. It's a new move I invented for Diamond Dallas Page, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a DDT. But I kind of like it. Of course, he also has the Diamond Cutter, which is his main move, but since it's just Greg Valentine, we can use the DDP DDT. 65. We're backstage with Jesus Christ, I can't talk. The Degenerates. Thank you. And they renamed themselves to D-Generation X. So, finally, a more appropriate name for these guys. I think it just works better, It's a little weird. I don't know where they got the name, but you know what? It's fine. And they're challenging the Nation of Domination, The Rock, D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, and Farouk to a 4-on-4 tag match next week if they can find a fourth man, because China can't compete in the men's division as of now. So, who will team with DX next week to take on NOD? We'll have to find that out next week. 72. Dustin Rhodes is in the ring, and he's complaining that the Syndicate was fine without Steve Austin. And Dustin promises to fix everything. Next up, we've got Mike Awesome versus The Big Show. Speaking of the Syndicate, The Big Show's coming out. And he gets a victory over Mike Awesome in 13 minutes with a chokeslam. It did 76, way better than I thought I was going to get for these two guys. Oh, yes. Brian Pillman is in the ring, and he's shitting on everyone. Shitting on the roster, on management. Not on the fans. We'll leave the fans out of it for now. And The Undertaker. Lights go out, The Undertaker comes in, and he hits Brian Pillman with a chokeslam. So now we're going to get a Brian Pillman versus Undertaker rivalry. And it looks like I've been teasing... Oh yeah, I forgot I was teasing Brian Pillman as a heel turn. I'm just starting that. I don't know if I'm going to follow through with it, because I have a new idea for a character for Brian Pillman. We're kind of moving... Well, we're staying in the lunatic area, but a little more contained. I'll have to explain it when his heel turn eventually does come. I'm not going to show you guys the name of the gimmick because it's going to give it all away. But our main event... Oh, then I forgot to change that. Anyway, The Rock gets a victory over Chris Benoit after interference from Chris Jericho, which means The Rock is the new GCW Intercontinental Champion. And we end our show with an 82. So, The Rock... moving from TV champion to Intercontinental Champion in a relatively short time frame. Alright. So, there you have it. The Rock is the new Intercontinental Champion. By the way, if we look at Maryland Championship Wrestling, Curryman lost the title. After almost a year of having the title, he drops it to Mark Young. And Friday, week 4 of March 1996. So Mark Young has been champion for 4 days. So, but he's not a developmental worker for us. He's just somebody that works there. The Suicide Blondes are still tag champs, and Hardcastle is still the TV champion. I'm just gonna make sure the teams are all good. Oh, they made a new team. Good for them. The Coalition. Alright, let's sim to our next show, GCW Fuel. I got to book Saturday Night's Wrestling, but that's not going to take long. So I'll be right back with the second show and last show of today's episode. Alright, second show of today's episode. We're starting off with Nation of Domination cutting a promo, and DX coming out. And who will team with them? It's none other than Diamond Dallas Page. So 4-on-4 tonight, NOD versus DX and DDP. 67. Excuse me. Television Championship is on the line next. Stevie Ray defeats Scotty Riggs and retains the title on his brother's behalf. 63. Next up, Chris Jericho is cutting a promo, and BPI Battle Pro Initiative come out, and it's announced that Lance Storm will face off against Chris Jericho next week. 66. Perry Saturn is backstage with Hammer and Just Incredible, and he tells them that they better win tonight or there will be consequences. And of course they lose again to the Southern Outlaws. So gets a 57, and once again Perry Saturn kicks the ever-loving shit out of them. So 53. Billy Kidman versus Super Colo, member of the LWO next, and Kidman gets the victory in 8:23 with a shooting star. Gets a 60, not too bad. Billy Kidman with a 59. He's getting over. He's getting up there. Next up, backstage, we're with James J. Dillon, the network executive, and he tells Disco and Mike Awesome, the Disco dudes, he's going to put them in charge of finding out who attacked Booker T and who took him out of action. So Disco and Mike are on the case. So gets a 71. We're in the ring with The Undertaker and Paul Bearer, and they're cutting a promo. Brian Pillman comes out, and he challenges The Undertaker to a match at Championship Wrestling Madhouse. So these two are picking up steam in their rivalry. Gets an 82. Not yet. Next up, Satoshi Kojima gets a victory over Nikolai Volkov in 5:17. A domination victory for Satoshi Kojima tonight, and we're just trying to get him over. That's why Nikolai Volkov did not want to put Kojima over, but guess what? I don't give a shit. You're like 89 years old. No, he's like 50 or whatever. 48. Steve Austin comes down to the ring, and he says Dustin is a little bitch, and I'm going to straighten him out. So it gets a 100. Then we're backstage with the world champion Sting, and he gives some friendly advice to Diamond Dallas Page. DDP should not be messing with other people's business like D-Generation X and the Nation of Domination's little rivalry there. He should be focusing on his world championship match against Sting, the, I believe, 4-time world champion, and gets an 86. And we get to our main event. DDP, Triple H, Billy Gunn, and Road Dogg, they get the victory over the Nation of Domination when DDP pinned Kama Mustafa, and DDP gets a 66. He's getting up there. He was at like a 55 or whatever last week. Now he's at a 66. Fantastic. Triple H, though, showing everybody up with a 78. Gets a 76 and ends our show with an 84. So not too bad. We keep growing in popularity. See what we got here. Yep. And oh yeah, I forgot. Ricky Steamboat, right? He's retiring. Ricky Steamboat announced that he's retiring. I think it's set in the mod that he was going to retire at 43 years old. Because I checked, he doesn't have any injuries. Like his condition, his physical health is fine. Right? I don't think his skills have been deteriorating. No, in fact, they've been deteriorating like one. But that's not bad. He's still very over. So I think it's just said in the mod that he retires in 1996. Because he probably did in real life. That would make sense. But that's unfortunate for the WWF. Steamboat is done. And Ric Flair, when does his contract end? Ric Flair's contract expires in 2 months. I mean, he's not going to want to sign with us anyway, but imagine getting Ric Flair. I would like to get Ric Flair. I think he'd be fun. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode of GCW. Make sure to like if you like this video, subscribe if you want more. We'll see you guys in the next episode, where we're going to see not only GCW Fuel, but we're also going to see the results of Championship Wrestling 177 Madhouse. Have a good one, guys.